You are now listening to the Artsindy Crossroads show. Here's
Suk Yen Lee, host for CBC's Definitely Not the Opera and former VJ for Much Music.
I just Googled Nick Panu, pretending you're Marlon Brando, and you're asleep on you're asleep on your laptop.
Will Sasso stars for Mad TV and another series coming out on CBS.
Your intro there sounded like I was just making my way down to the ring for a MMA fight.
Interviews with Ruth Moody, the Wailing Jennies.
You're so welcome. Take care.
Motivational speaker David Roche.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Take care of yourself. I really appreciate it.
Karen LeBlanc, the star of Nurse, the fighter boy.
Hi, Nick. I'm really good, and thank you for asking me.
People in film, theater, music, the arts.
You know, culture and art and expression are fundamental to that essence of life.
It does take some strength, and it does take the skin of a rhino sometimes. You know, it's worth it. It really is. It's worth it.
Coming to you from UFV campus, you're listening to Civil Radio 101.7 FM. Listeners, right now we are speaking here with Matt Grant, voiceover actor, MC, and former radio producer, host. He's done it all, folks. But today, Matt doesn't mind talking a little bit about community. Yeah, this is an art show, and we've talked often about the whole Metro Vancouver, whole GVRD, the whole Lower Mainland is changing. Venues are shutting down, gentrification. People have brought this up. Matt, do you think we're losing our sense of community in this day and age?
Losing our sense of community? Well, it depends. There are a lot of people, online. You go online and there seems to be a lot of petitions, neighborhoods getting together to oppose clear-cutting, the movement of coal through their community, land use development. So there's so many things happening in various communities in the Lower Mainland, but I think the internet has made it possible to spread awareness to other neighbors. There's lots of development, tons of development. Even out here in South Surrey, 176, from 176 and 160th along 24th Avenue, they just cut down huge patches of trees and put up hundreds of townhomes, but the road stays the same. It's going to be really frustrating for commuters within the next few months, but you always have people who oppose. People move to municipalities for one reason or another, whether they move there for a job or their family or a change of pace. So you're always going to have an influx of people coming and going. But if you know you have an area like, take Surrey, for instance. It's like one of the largest growing cities in the Lower Mainland. Cranes everywhere. There's towers and construction everywhere. But you have to think ahead to the traffic congestion. That would be my biggest concern. Traffic congestion.
Gentrification happening everywhere. And Surrey is one of the fastest growing municipalities still at this point, has been for a long time. But yeah, where I live, New West, there's been a lot of changes. Columbia Street. We have some new venues, like for music. 2 prominent venues. Maybe, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention them. I have to mention live events sometimes. But the Heritage Grill has a lot of live events, artists, local artists. And there's the other venue owned by the same person who runs the Heritage. Things are changing so fast. Like, I kind of know the people around where I live. And, they're going to gut this whole area I'm living and put condos on both sides. So I think it's 2 years, 3 years. We don't have no choice, but we have to leave, move. And I don't know where else.
What's the latest on there was talks not too long ago, was there not, of twinning the Pattullo Bridge or doing some renos for it. Like that would, if you're on the Surrey side, good or bad, I can't see it being a good situation for those that live on the north side of the Pattullo Bridge. There's so much traffic that comes through there now. Maybe a little less over the last few months because of the removing of the tolls on the Port Man.
Oh, yeah.
But still, heavily congested area.
Yeah, they were actually working on the Pattullo Bridge. Was it a year and a half ago? But the traffic was really bad for a while.
Well, they did, I think they repaved, or they did quite a bit of work on the Pattullo Bridge. And I remember driving over the bridge the day after all the work was completed, and it was one of the worst drives I've had in the Lower Mainland in quite some time. I thought they completely forgot how to make a smooth surface. I thought they were maybe depending on the vehicles to flatten out all the ruts that they left behind. It's still, to this day, one of the worst paving jobs I've ever... I just couldn't believe that they were done. I was like, there's no way they're finished this project. They got to come back and pave it.
No, I remember when they were working on Pattullo Bridge, the 91 from Richmond, going into Surrey, going over to the Pattullo Bridge, it was really backed up. But they still, if they have to work on it again, which they eventually, I guess that's gonna happen. It's gonna be bad for traffic. But community, I don't know. A lot of people in the cities seem to be complaining about we're losing our sense of community.
What is there? What is there? Who are they? And are dozens of people getting together with the exact same concept of what they think community is? Like, everyone's conception or perception of their own community is going to be different from everyone else. So what is one's sense of community?
Yeah, that's an important point you make. I have to be more specific. Like, everybody, I guess, has their own community. They don't want to be too inclusive, so that was the vibe I was picking up. No, there's been people...
Nobody wants their community to change.
Yeah.
Nobody wants their community to change. Just look at... I was looking at the Peace Arch News here yesterday, and there was an individual, some Joe homeowner somewhere, who made a phone call to the Peace Arch News and said, hey, I have a story. Send someone over so I can make it public to everyone else. And he has what looked like two massive trees on his property. Now, I don't know if he's renting or if he's a homeowner, but he wants one of those trees removed, probably for safety reasons, and the city won't allow it. So there seems to be not the most fair playing field when it comes to just the simplest of removing trees. You know, you have this gentleman here who has to jump through hoops. At the end of the day, that tree is staying there. Yet the city of White Rock clear-cut the hump here in White Rock along the beach a few years ago. And people were up in arms. We still have contractors who will cut down trees. Maybe they know, maybe they didn't know they were supposed to come down, but that's a pretty big mistake. And there's been situations where homeowners have come home from getting groceries and 6 or 7 of their trees are now on the ground because someone wasn't on the right page. And I know we're getting off topic, but there is always going to be those in any given community, municipality, neighborhood. There's always going to be those individuals, the NIMBYs, not in my backyard. We live in a society of people protest. People make use of the many different forms of social media, Tumblr, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. If there's a social media site out there where people can vent, distort the truth, only only get one side. I mean, how many instances where you're looking at the last 30 seconds of video footage that ends, violently or ends whatever way that it does. If you're not seeing what led up to that, then you're being misled. You're not getting the full story.
And sometimes,
I don't even know how I get onto that topic, Nick. I don't know how you're going to weave that into your story.
yeah, if you've only seen that's a good point. If you've only seen the last 30 seconds, sometimes people have a agenda to manipulate you and coerce your thought process, make you biased towards some group or some.
If people don't want you to know what's going on inside of them, they are going to do whatever they can to keep themselves protected. And sometimes that is just, you keep yourself protected by hanging out with the right people, saying the right things, doing the right things. You don't want to rock the boat. But that's not being you. That's not being your true self. Tiptoeing through life. You don't want to offend anybody. That's not happiness.
Yeah, I should have researched this topic, thought about it more, Grant. But Matt, but that's a good point. I mean, because you have all these social media communities. So I think a lot of us in an unconscious way are like, the hell with our physical community. We got our own social media community. We have these groups we're on, people we're interacting with online. We probably wouldn't approach, maybe, or maybe we would if we actually, on the street.
I think, Nick, there is a very small percentage of people would back up what they say on social media because you're nice and safe in your office or sitting on the toilet at 3 o'clock in the morning putting out ridiculous tweets. You feel safe, right? But if you were to put 30 trolls, if you took the internet's top 30 trolls and put them in one room, you would hope that a black hole would appear somewhere and they'd all be sucked into it.
Yeah, you should do stand up. Go back to stand up, Matt. That's
people who do nothing but cruise these clickbait sites and want to get sucked in just to stir up thoughts and emotions from complete strangers. What a waste of energy. What a waste of energy. It's so sad. Very sad.
Yeah, they should check out a live show, go to a spoken word event, maybe, check out live music for sure, play, theater. So segueing into arts, Matt, I think I asked this to you before, maybe kind of a hybrid, community and arts. What was it like in the Maritimes where you lived?
What was the arts and entertainment like on the East Coast?
Yeah.
Well, I've been out here on the West Coast for 18 years, so I can only give you the knowledge that I have from friends who are back there, but I know every fall, usually in September, they have a Harvest Blues and Jazz Festival, and that's really, really big.
Oh, yeah.
East Coast music is obviously really big on the East Coast, but I was just watching and listening to an interview this morning on the CBC with Michael Bublé, who is hosting this year's Juno Awards that are here in Vancouver, which is Bublé's hometown. And I can only go by what he said, and this was him talking this morning. He was in California, but he is very excited and very proud of the young up-and-coming artists that are going to make a name for themselves here real quick and are going to be big, big stars here within the next 4 or 5 years. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the Junos here in, I think it's March 25th. Just to see Michael Bublé host. Bublé, I've never met him. I like his music. He's super talented, but he seems like he's very down to earth. He seems very humble, very proud Canadian. So when he says that he's excited about the direction and the enthusiasm and all the fun that's happening with the Canadian music industry, it gets me excited because we've produced some really, really great musicians over the years, and that you can't argue. And we've also produced the best hockey players in the world. That you can't dispute either.
Oh, no disputing that. But yeah, Michael Bublé seems to be a pretty down-to-earth guy.
It was a great chat. He was speaking with one of the CBC announcers, Scott. I can't think of his... Maybe it's not even Scott. But the way he speaks, it's really hard to watch him speak. I don't know what it is. It's the way he presents, the way he looks when he talks. I just can't help but, I don't know. It's weird. You can edit that out.
Yeah, that's interesting though. So Michael Bublé, said the next 3-4 top acts will be coming from Canada. Did you say Canada or Vancouver?
No, he was just excited. He was excited about the young talent that was just on the verge. And I think he was really excited about this upcoming show because I think he believes that people are going to see some talent that's going to make them stand up and go, hey, very nice, very proud. I think we can all be very proud of any Canadian artist who's ever been lucky enough to have been born into this great country.
Yeah, about local venues and that, like we've done our stand-up off and on, you and me, Grant. But the thing is, for your craft, you need a place to practice, engage with the audience, hone your art, make it better. It's arts for art's sake in the beginning, and that should always be the motivation, sharing your art with with people, give them a positive experience so that can lead to something positive in their life. But you mentioned for new artists to come up, venues.
Do your research. When it comes to venues, just do your research. Because I can almost guarantee you any place that you want to go check out, there's probably a review written somewhere, online somewhere. But if you know for me being an MC, the MC work that I've done, I will know the venue probably days in advance. But I can guarantee you I will go to that venue days before it even happens just so I know the layout. You will pick up a vibe when you walk into a venue.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If you're in one certain part of the city, the venues there are going to be different than if you were in a different part of the city because there are different factions of people, different cliques in different parts of the city, right? So if you want to go to a place where you're trying new material and you don't really care what the audience says, you don't care if there's 100 people in the audience or there's 10 people in the audience, you're there to practice your craft. But you still have to be professional, you still have to be good, because those 10 people that are there, on the off chance, there might be someone there who can change the direction that you're going. Doesn't every comedian, in the back of their mind, when they're just getting started, want to have a killer set? And then afterwards, just like in the movies, have some guy come up and hand him a business card and say, hey, let's do that.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that's not in the back of your mind when you're up there doing that. But do your research. Do your research. I mean, if you want to be bold and say, this is the night where I got brand new material, and I'm not going to go to that shady little pub/comic room that I go to all the time. I'm going to go to a different part of the city, and I don't really care the reaction that I get, because you can't do your material based on the reaction that you may or may not get. That's just not just in doing comedy, but just in life. You can't go through life doing chores or having thoughts or making decisions based on an outcome that may or may not happen. But bottom line, do your research and decide early whether or not you're going to really hone your skills or you're going to try some fresh material and just go out and get beat up and bruised and learn from it. Do your research and learn. If you're not learning from it, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Matt, your battery's at 10%, and I apologize to you, Matt, and the listeners. I should have done my research on community and a little bit more focused, so I would have more to talk about. Be more introspective, because I was having problems thinking of a topic and then coming up with the right questions. But Matt, are you going to be checking out the Junos for Canadian artists?
I will be checking out the Junos. I think the show is on March 25th. It's from right here in Vancouver with Vancouver's own Michael Bublé will be hosting. And I'm really excited. Like I said, I was listening to an interview with him here earlier today, and he seems excited about the young talent that's coming up in Canadian music, so that makes me excited. So hopefully there'll be a good turnout. I know the Junos, I was going to say they'd be going up against the Olympics, but the Olympics will be well done by then. And go Canada, go!
So, Matt, I hope you don't mind me playing, the Young Liars? They're actually from Langley. Oh, the band spread out. Langley, Abbotsford, just close to White Rock, where you are. And you might have seen them play somewhere at a local venue. The full name of the band is the Young Liars.
Crank it up, man.
Listeners, we were just speaking to Matt Grant, and we will be speaking again sometime in the near future. Thanks for your time, Matt.
Okay, thanks, Nick.
feeling is stirring now that we're apart. And everyone knows, dear, you'll just do me wrong. So baby, this Christmas, let's leave it alone. 'Cause darling, it snows and snows and off we go again. Oh, 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 oh.
Well, baby, it's Christmas, and all through my heart, no feeling is stirring. Now that we're apart, and everyone knows, dear, you'll just do me wrong. So baby, this Christmas, let's leave it alone. 'Cause darling, it snows and snows and off we go again. Oh, 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 oh. Well, baby, it's Christmas,
And all through my heart,
and all through my heart,
the feeling is
the
stirring.
feeling is stirring.
Now that we're
apart, and everyone knows, dear,
everyone knows,
just do me wrong.
just do me wrong.
So baby, this Christmas,
Baby, this
let's
Christmas,
leave it alone.
let's leave it alone. 'Cause
Darling, it snows and snows and